If you need an easy but tasty meal prep video with a little bit of pumpkin thrown in the mix, you clicked on the right video today. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Nicole. If you are new, thanks so much for clicking on today's meal prep video. It is a good one. Stay tuned for the end because I'm going to update you on how I liked everything we prepped. I've got breakfast, lunch items, and of course we are already starting with the pumpkin and the pumpkin spice life. If you were all about it, leave some type of fall emoji with your comment down below. Let's get into this week's meal prep. First thing we are making for meal prep today is actually something for the kiddos. So I'm making cinnamon biscuits with a glaze. This is something that we can eat as well, so that's nice to not have like separate foods right from yourself and your family. You can partake and know that the macros will be on point for you. I've never made these before. This is going to be something brand new. I'm testing on the boys today. You will know in this video if it gets a thumbs up from Waylon, which is a super picky eater. So the ingredients we're going to need today for our cinnamon drop biscuits are some Kodiak cakes, power cake, flapjack, and waffle mix. This big box I get from Sam's Club. They also sell it at Costco, I believe. I am using some protein powder. I'm going to use the Snickerdoodle. Is one of my favorites to do in recipes. It is so good and the cinnamon flavor is on point. I always have a link down below to get 10 off of 30 for your purchase, to check that out. Of course, we're going to need cinnamon. We're going to need some water, I think we're using for our wet ingredients, some vanilla extract, maple extract, and sugar replacement. Now I'm going to use the white monk fruit sweetener for the actual biscuit batter, but I think I'm going to put a little bit of this brown sugar swerve on top just to give it that nice like sugar factor on top once we bake these. We're going to make our simple glaze and hopefully they come out good. First ingredient I'm adding is my Kodiak cake mix. You're going to need 186 grams is what I have plugged into the carb manager for the recipe. I will be telling you guys the macros on these per biscuit. I'm thinking that this should make 12 biscuits, fingers crossed, and the macros will be super on point. And again, hopefully these taste bomb. I have high hopes, but when you make something for the first time, you never ever know. Next, we're gonna do our protein powder, which is 224 grams of protein powder going in. Again, I am using a food scale. A lot of y'all commented on last week's video about how precise I was with everything. If you are tracking, guys, and wanting to get the best results, a food scale is your life. And I always have this one linked in my Amazon store down below in the description box. Love this one, super easy to use. Not gonna lie, that's a lot of damn protein powder. So make sure you got a big old tub, girl, of it if you are using this recipe, because that 224 grams is a lot of protein powder. It mentioned earlier, but I am gonna put a little bit of baking powder in here just because I am using so much of the protein powder. The Kodiak cakes mix already has all that in it, which is great, but I don't know if it has enough to make these do what they need to do, if that makes sense. Again, first time making this. So I'm gonna do 1 teaspoon of baking powder. I'm now gonna put 8 teaspoons of our sugar substitute. You can use whatever sugar substitute you want. I'm gonna use the classic Lakanto monk fruit sweetener, and I'm gonna do 8 teaspoons. You can do more or less depending on how sweet you want it. Since these are cinnamon biscuits, of course we have to do our cinnamon. I'm gonna do 2 generous, and I mean like generous, heaping teaspoons of cinnamon going in. I'm gonna give my dry ingredients a nice whisk just to get all the cinnamon, the monk fruit, the protein powder mixed with the Kodiak cake mix. I cannot say that. Try to say that like 10 times fast. Trust me, you'll be sounding all countrified like I was just now. So that looks good, and you can add almond milk to this. You can add the protein milk to this, which we like. The Fairlife is really good. You can add eggs if you want, just to give this a different consistency when you're baking it up. But the original recipe I got this for just added water. We ended up using exactly 2 cups of water because of the massive amount of protein powder we had. That's the consistency that I want. I think it's going to be good enough. Yeah, it's thick enough where it's not going to be runny, and it's going to be able to be just fine. So what I'm going to do is take a heaping spoonful and put it on my parchment paper like so, and this is definitely going to give us probably way more than 12 is what I was thinking as far as the serving size goes. I think we're going to get way more than this, so the macros are going to be even better than last time, what I thought. So we're just going to keep placing this on the parchment paper, and then I'm going to take that brown sugar swerve and put a little bit on top just to give it that nice sugar crystallization once we cook it. Now we're going to take a little bit of that brown sugar swerve and just put a little bit on top. I'm not measuring this, guys. It's not going to affect your macros. It is 0 everything, but if you count total carbs, make sure that you're plugging it in your carb manager because it will make a difference then, but net carbs won't make a difference at all. You can add more cinnamon here if you want. You can add any other type of spices on here before popping it in the oven. We've got our oven heated to 425. We're gonna bake these for 8 to 11 minutes or maybe more. Y'all know this is a first time recipe, like I keep saying. I don't ever know what I'm doing. I'm gonna set the timer to 8 minutes and check it. I'd rather them to be underdone than overdone, and we can add time. While the biscuits are cooking, we're gonna get our simple glaze going. So we're gonna need 2/3 cup of powdered sugar replacement. I'm using the Lakanto powdered monk fruit sweetener. Love it so much. I'm also gonna add some vanilla extract and also some maple extract and a little bit of water depending on if we need it a little bit more liquidy for our glaze. Depends on how you like it. If you like it more thick, you like it more runny, whatever the case. And that is it. You can definitely do this with butter. You can do this with other things to make it even more decadent as a cinnamon roll like topping, but I'm going super simple today. Ended up adding 2 tablespoons of water instead of 1. It's not runny at all, but it's not super thick where I couldn't stir it before. So it's perfect for dipping and glazing. Y'all, I've got hungry boys, so I've got to hurry up and see if they like these. So this is what they look like coming out the oven. 8 minutes, y'all. That was exactly it on 425. They came out perfect. They're nice and soft, as you guys can see, and they smell absolutely amazing. So I just put a few on a plate here. The first batch made 12. I got a lot of batter left over. I'm gonna take my icing and just put it on top like so and spread it out. If you're making these to prep, obviously, this icing will harden on top of it once it dries. You can dip them. You don't have to do as much as I'm doing, but who doesn't like a little extra icing, especially for your kiddos? So I'm gonna have to definitely make some extra icing. That's not gonna be enough for all these freaking biscuits that this batter makes. Definitely cut this in half if you don't wanna make so many, but these probably will freeze well too. So if you wanted to make a bunch with this original recipe and have them in the freezer and pop them out, air fry them, whatever you want to do to make your life and your morning super easy for yourself or your kids, there you go. I plan on making these for myself eventually with some raisins. Doesn't that sound delicious? I love like cinnamon raisin anything. That will up your macros a little bit. So if you do add anything extra, make sure you include it in your customized recipe in Carb Manager. All right, Waylon, what do you think of these?
Good. It's very good.
Very good? Do they get the Waylon seal of approval?
Yeah.
What do they taste like? Strawberry. There's no strawberry in there, dude. It's supposed to taste like cinnamon roll. Does it kind of taste like cinnamon roll?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you give it a thumbs up? What? And Trey's over here eating his as well. So I think this is a winner, y'all. Here are the other ones. I cooked these for about 6 minutes at 425, just letting you guys know, and they came out perfect. So I don't know if it's because my oven was already like super hot or what, but just 6 to 8 minutes. Check on them for the consistency that you want, because these came out pretty good at 6 minutes. They're nice and fluffy. I tasted one, y'all, and the only thing I can say is that the icing, it gives you an initial cooling effect from that Lakanto sweetener. So if you make it with some softened butter, some cream cheese, whatever, for the topping, the actual cake part, the donut part, the cookie part, whatever you want to call this biscuit, tastes so good. So cinnamon flavored, oh my gosh, on point. And this made an exact 20 for me. For 20 of these cinnamon muffins, cinnamon biscuits, it's only 73 calories for each one, 11 grams of protein, 5 net carbs, and 1 gram of fat. That is insane to me. So you could definitely eat a bunch of these and these be super low calorie, but super high protein. One of them is 11 grams of protein because of all that protein powder we use. If you don't want to do that simple icing on those cinnamon biscuits, you can always make this protein pumpkin butter. What, girl? Shut up. Yes, we're making protein pumpkin butter. Again, never made it before, but it looks bomb. I will link the original recipe down below for y'all and type it out. These are the ingredients we're going to need. We're going to need a bunch of spices, some cinnamon. I'm going to use the pumpkin pie spice by Primal Palette. You can use any one. Salt, some type of sugar-free pancake syrup or maple syrup, some organic unsweetened applesauce, some pumpkin, and you don't want to get the sweetened kind like the pie one. You want to get just a regular one. You're going to need some protein powder. Again, I'm using the PEScience Snickerdoodle. It's just bomb and everything. And then a sugar replacement. I'm using the Swerve again in this recipe. So basically we're going to dump everything besides the protein powder in our pot over there. Let this come to a simmer for 20 minutes. Add your protein powder and done. I'm not sure how many servings this makes yet, so I will update you for the complete precise macros at the end. We're first gonna add our pumpkin, and you need 425 grams, which according to this can is 425 grams. We shall see right now. You know how we've been talking about things weigh either more or less on the packaging, so it's always good to have that food scale. Be the most accurate as possible, especially if you are tracking, plugging in your macros. Let's see, right now we're at 371. Pretty darn close. I mean, I guess they can't be super accurate. I guess things change probably as things get canned and packed and shipped and all that good stuff. I don't know. But we're at 422, so that's pretty damn accurate. I added just a little bit more from my spare can. You really didn't even need it. It was pretty spot on. We're gonna add our applesauce unsweetened next. You need 122 grams. Now I recommend buying those little cups, you know, that you can pack in your kids like lunch bags, because if you have this big jar like this, these spoil on me pretty quick. They mold pretty quick when you put them in the fridge if you're not gonna use them right after. If you're not an applesauce fan or you don't use this all the time, get the little cups because they actually weigh out, I think, to be like half a cup or something exactly. When you're baking like this, you're not wasting any, and they're pretty cheap as well. Now I'm gonna add my 1/4 cup of my sugar-free maple syrup. I'm using the Walden Farms, and I think I'm gonna have just 1/4 cup left in this bottle so I don't have to open up a new one. We're adding a significant amount of pumpkin pie spice, 2½ teaspoons. That is a lot, but this is pumpkin butter, so I guess we want it to be extra pumpkin-y. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, ground cinnamon going in, and again, it's gonna be a little bit more. I don't mind having a little extra. 1/2 teaspoon of salt going in. I'm using Redmond's. Y'all know that is my favorite for pre-workout. That's my favorite for spices, electrolytes. Always have a discount code with Redmond's linked down below. And last going in, protein powder is gonna go in after we bring this to the simmer. It's gonna be the last thing. We're not gonna cook it. Is 3 teaspoons of our brown sugar replacement. I am gonna pack it in there pretty good because I want all that sweetness, girl. The sweeter, the better sometimes. So 3 teaspoons of this going in. Now I'm just gonna take my whisk and I'm gonna incorporate all these ingredients together. It's already like super thick as is. And this original recipe said it makes 10 servings, but I was thinking a serving would be like a tablespoon. So what I'm gonna do after I cook this is put it in a dish, weigh it up, and then divide it to where I know exactly spot on, like to the gram, the serving would be for you guys and for myself when plugging and tracking into our macro calculator. So I've got my pot over a medium-high heat right now. It says to bring it to a simmer or let it come to bubbly, the original recipe said. And then we're gonna put it down to a low-medium heat and let it simmer for 20-25 minutes. Take it off the heat. We're gonna add the protein powder, mix it in. Pumpkin butter has been cooking for 20 minutes on medium-low heat, as you guys can see. Now we're gonna add our protein powder. Again, I'm using the PEScience Snickerdoodle, 90 grams going in. We're gonna give it a whisk. I'm gonna add it to my mason jar and weigh it up as I'm adding it to the mason jar. And then we'll figure out the exact macros and how many servings this will make. It looks amazing, guys, and it smells phenomenal. If it tastes as good as it smells, we're in for a treat. Our way to zero here, I'm gonna add my pumpkin butter. I'm not sure, and I don't think it's gonna all fit in one, so I have a backup here just in case, but I'm just gonna add it, and then it will weigh it for me at the same time, and then we can divide up for the macros. Weighing out my second little mason jar, we've got 219 grams. I'm gonna add it up, do the math. So when weighing this up together, I got 661 grams. I divided that by 20 servings, which gave me 33 grams for a serving, is what I'm thinking. So I went ahead and plugged that in my carb manager, and I'm gonna tell you the macros for one serving, which is 27 calories for 33 grams, 2 net carbs, 4 grams of protein, and 0 grams of fat. I'm here for that versus anything you can buy in store. Gonna be higher in protein, lower in calories, sugar-free, guys, because we used everything non-added sugars. You're only getting sugars from like the unsweetened applesauce and that kind of thing. So if you're looking for a healthy alternative version, watch the end of this video. I will update you on how I liked it. I have all my baked goods always in the freezer in our deep freeze, so they last longer than last time, as Greg Doucette would say. And the pumpkin spice English muffins by Thomas, I haven't tried them yet, but they look fire. So I went ahead and took 2 of them out because that's all I'm gonna need this week. I've already plugged everything in my carb manager for the entire week. And I'm also gonna need 2 of these Thomas Everything bagel thins. They're only 110 calories per bagel thin. I pop these in the toaster and they toast up so well. They're delicious. I'm gonna be making egg whites to put on these in a few minutes. So here is what they look like, and I'm gonna put these back in the freezer and just let what I need for the week thaw out here on the counter, put it in a Ziploc bag, toast them up the morning of, and be good to go. Next, to go along on the side of our pumpkin butter and English muffin combo, and to go on top of the bagel thins with a little bit of hot sauce, just making some egg white little omelets. I'm doing 200 grams. I need 4 of them. I could do this the morning of, but this is just gonna speed things up even more so. I don't mind putting the egg white little omelet in the air fryer or in the microwave, and then putting it on top of our muffin or our bagel and go without our day. Little mini omelets all ready to go. So for one, when I pair it with the pumpkin butter and the pumpkin spice English muffin, I'm just gonna add a little bit of sriracha on here and be good to go. But when I eat them with the bagel thins, I'm gonna cut them in half and open up the bagel thin, put it on top of the bagel thin with a little bit of sriracha, and be good to go as well. This will save you time. So I have 4 of them, 200 grams each. I know they're plugged and ready to go into my carb manager, and I am going to be set for success. We've got breakfast squared away. Now it's time to get into some lunch options this week. I'm going easy route with some shrimp burger Alfredo pasta. These shrimp burgers are from Trader Joe's. They are super delicious. What I love about them is the macros. So for one burger, it's only 90 calories, 4 fat, 13 whopping grams of protein, like 0 carb. It is amazing, and they taste bomb in the air fryer. That's how I'm gonna be making them. I'm gonna need 2 ounces. I'm making 2 bowls. So each bowl is gonna have 2 ounces of weighed out out dry bonza pasta. I love this pasta because it's full of protein. I am going to try the Barilla protein one. Y'all been screaming that that one tastes exactly like real pasta and still has some protein factor in it. I like the Classico 4 cheese Alfredo or the roasted garlic, but it's been sold out at my store because the macros are great. For a 1/4 of a cup, it's only 45 calories, 3 grams of fat, 3 carb, and 1 protein. We are going to put a little bit of this Parmesan Romano on top. So super easy. Air fry these, boil your pasta, pour some pasta sauce on in a container, reheat throughout the week. Can't get any easier than this and super delicious. This is my second air fryer. It's actually my first air fryer. I got a new one for inside. This is the one we put outside by the Blackstone. Don't judge it. It's been through the ringer and back right as far as how it looks, but hey, it still works. That's all that matters. I like to cook these in the one outside because they do have a strong like seafood smell, I find, and they take a while to cook. So these last time I cooked in the air fryer on 400 degrees, I think I did 20 minutes and I flipped them halfway and they still weren't like crispy, but again, we're gonna reheat these. So I'm gonna do them exactly as I did them last time, 400 degrees, 20 minutes, flip halfway. We'll be good to go to reheat and add them to our bowls. For each bowl, I need 2 ounces of dried weighed out pasta. So I'm gonna weigh out 4 ounces, cook it all together, and once it's cooked, I'm just going to weigh it up and divide it by 2, and that'll be the most accurate for me and my macros. Shrimp burger Alfredo bowls are done. I topped it with the Alfredo sauce, which is exactly 110 grams of the Classico and that 1 tablespoon of the Parmesan Romano I showed y'all. 478 calories and 31 net carbs for each bowl for a great lunch option. You can add some other things to it if you wanted to. Avocado, you could even do spinach and mushrooms mixed in there for a little extra protein and veg. Make it your own. Next lunch option, we're making tuna cakes. So they're gonna be anabolic, they're going to be good macros, but this is gonna be a lower fat option for us. And we're also gonna add a little bit of fresh shrimp. On top of the tuna cakes and the shrimp, we're gonna do broccoli slaw, and I'm just gonna saute it up in a little bit of this no soy teriyaki by the Primal Kitchen. And we're also gonna add a little bit of spices to our tuna cakes that the original recipe does not call for. So you're gonna need some type of breadcrumb agent. I'm gonna use the Great Low Carb Bread Company Italian breadcrumbs just because they are lower in calorie, fat, and carbs and all that good stuff, and better ingredients than some of the other ones in store. Y'all comment down below if you found a good ingredient like breadcrumb. They're really hard to find. Need a binding agent, so we're gonna use some light mayo, 1 egg, 2 cans of tuna, and I'm gonna add some red pepper flakes to mine and parsley. For the slaw agent, we're doing 200 grams of broccoli slaw sauteed up in 1 tablespoon of the teriyaki sauce, and then I'm gonna divide these shrimp into half for each of our bowls. Super easy, but super tasty. You need 2 cans of tuna, so all I did was drain my tuna. I'm using it in water. You don't want the ones in olive oil or any type of oils because it's gonna add way more calories and fat than you want here, especially when we are doing the anabolic lifestyle. 2 to 3 tablespoons of parsley. I'm just using dry. I think I'm gonna do 2. 3 sounds like a lot. That's what the original recipe called for, but I'm thinking 2 looks good. Half a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. I like my tuna cakes a little hot. You can add, I'm gonna add a little bit more salt and pepper, of course. Got our food scale back out. We're gonna weigh up 43 grams of our Great Low Carb breadcrumbs going in. We're gonna crack our egg and have it go in. It's a lot of breadcrumbs and a lot of dry. I'm hoping the wet that calls in this recipe is enough to make these bind and do right. 2 tablespoons of light mayo are 26 grams. I'm actually gonna weigh it out precisely. Let's hope we don't go over, and let's hope this is enough. Boom, 26 grams on the dot. I mess on our hands when trying to mix these tuna cakes. I mean, we don't want them super wet, right? Because we want to be able to bind them and make our patties, but we don't want them to be like Sahara Desert. I don't know. While I've got my tuna cakes cooking in the air fryer, I am gonna hit this with a little bit of nonstick. We're gonna put our weighed out 200 grams of broccoli slaw directly in the pan, and then once it starts cooking a little bit, I'm gonna add that tablespoon of the teriyaki sauce, give it a good stir, add some spices, and then place them in our glass bowls for prep. And just FYI, 200 grams twice, so 400 grams is almost an entire bag of this broccoli slaw. It says 454 for grams, so if you're doing 2 bowls, 1 bag should be enough. If you're doing this every single day, get 2.5 probably is what you'll need. Broccoli slaw is starting to look how I want, so I'm gonna add my tablespoon of my teriyaki sauce, and I think I'm gonna do some sofrito, salt, and pepper in here as well. My tuna cakes look good. They're nice and crispy on the outside. As you guys saw, we did 400 degrees in the air fryer for 10 minutes. I did not flip them or anything. They look and smell perfect. Stay tuned for the end bars, how these bad boys are gonna taste, but we're gonna do 2 tuna cakes in each of our meal prep bowls. Tuna cake and slaw is done. Now we gotta get this shrimp rolling. So I've got exactly almost 6 ounces is what I was aiming for. So we did pretty good on that. I'm just gonna saute this in the same exact frying pan with some spices and some nonstick. Just realized the camera wasn't on, but I went ahead and weighed up and divided the shrimp into 2 on top of the slaw with our tuna cakes that are nice and crispy, ready to roll. Seafood bowls are done. So easy, so quick for this one. So with a tablespoon of this Trader Joe's sweet chili lime sauce or chili sauce, this stuff is fire, by the way. If you have not bought this, you need this. Next time I go, I'm stocking up. I might do 1 to 2 tablespoons the day of, but right now I have plugged in 1 tablespoon, and 45 grams of fresh sliced avocado to go on top would be 515 calories and 15 net carbs. So for my keto peeps out there, if you are doing super low carb throughout the day, you could definitely incorporate something like this. The tuna cakes that I made were a lower carb tuna cake because we use that great low carb baking company breadcrumb. Y'all know I never skip dessert, and I have dessert every single night. I truly believe that you should have dessert every single night, fit it in your macros some which way or form. And I was gonna make a protein cheesecake. Watch last week's meal prep video if you didn't check it out. I have the recipe there, and I still may. I have 2 slices left over for tomorrow night, but I'm just going to go through a lot of things I have on hand. This Nick's ice cream, I bought a bunch online. It is so delicious, guys, and so macro friendly. So it says 7 net carbs per pint. I don't know if that's true or not. It does have allulose in it, so I'll have to figure out the macros as far as the carbs go. But as far as calories, most of their pints are under 300 calories for the entire pint. It is so soft, no need to thaw out, microwave, all those things. I'm not sponsored by them, not affiliated with them at all. Paid my own money for all this online. I assure you guys, I'm just really loving their stuff so much. So this is definitely keto friendly for my keto peeps that still watch, and definitely friendly for the anabolic lifestyle because it's full of protein, low in fat, and low in calories. So here's an overview of this week's meal prep with the egg white omelets. We've got the cinnamon biscuits, as we're calling them back there, the protein biscuits, the protein pumpkin butter, cannot wait to try that, our thawed out baked goods, Alfredo spinach burger combo here, and the tuna cake combo as well. And then of course, just keeping it easy with Nick's ice cream. That is this week's meal prep video. Y'all comment down below what you're most excited to try for your meal prep this week. So that's this week's meal prep video. I can tell you guys that pumpkin butter is fire. It is next level. I plan on freezing some of mine as well. I read that you can freeze it and it should be fine, but it is so good on those English muffins. It would be good on the Nature's Own 40-calorie bread. You could put it on top of some plain egg whites. I don't care what you do with it, girl, but you need to make it because it is so good. And with the amount of protein and the calories, you cannot go wrong, and all great ingredients. The lunch options were so on point this week and so easy to do as well. So I definitely recommend all the lunch options. Waylon, he got a little burnt out on the biscuits. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. He liked them, but then he was like, okay, mom, enough with the damn biscuits. Made a lot, right? So I definitely have that recipe, and just try that first before you commit to a whole crap ton of them. Trey's been loving them. So he's been eating them every morning this week for breakfast at school, and been eating them on the side for lunches, because for the calories and the protein, I've just been like packing it away for him. Make them as muffins as well if you don't want to do them as drop biscuits. Make them however you want. Add the raisins like like I mentioned in the video, I plan on doing that in the future because the macros are slapping, as our anabolic guys always say. So I hope you enjoyed this week's meal prep video. If you are loving these weekly meal prep videos, please give it a huge thumbs up. Thank y'all so much for the love and support for last week's and the amazing amount of thumbs up we got on that video. So let's try to outdo last week's and get even more than last time with more thumbs up. I am doing these every single week. I have so many fun things planned for fall. Y'all are asking me about all the anabolic fall recipes, and I am here for all of it. All the fall things. Y'all know this girl, fall is my jam. So you'll definitely be seeing a lot of fall stuff, and we have a coffee themed week I'm going to be doing here soon. So stay tuned. Make sure that notification bells click, you're subscribed, all the things. I hope you have an amazing week. I hope that you're setting yourself up for success as well and getting yourself in the kitchen and meal prepping for the week. And we'll see you next Friday with another meal prep video. Bye, y'all.